Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heart of Scrolls Badgercast, hosted by the...
What? Somehow
He
Smogan.
died.
Smogan!
Best introduction ever.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Best highway.
Let's try this again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Heart of Scrolls Badgercast, hosted by the Badger Guild. We are the original podcast dedicated to all things Scrolls. My name is Smogan, and I'm your wonderful host. We've got a full show lined up for you today. We've got a lot to talk about, including the just-released test server patch, which includes a lot of potential changes to the game, including a potential nerf to Watcher, potential changes to idle health that might be tested in the quick match, and even some new achievements. Then, after that, we're going to have an in-depth discussion about Mono Decay, the deck that's been plaguing the top of the ladder lately. We're going to talk about both how to play as Mono Decay, and then we're going to talk about how to beat it. Joining me for today are four of my fellow guildmates from the Badger Guild. First up, returning to the Badgercast is Magpie Man. Magpie Man is from Winchester, England, and is currently ranked at number 8 on the ladder with a rating of 1794, give or take a little bit. Welcome back to the show, Magpie Man.
Hey guys.
Next, making his debut on the Heart of Scrolls podcast is the Overlord. Known for his play with Order decks, the Overlord hails from Sweden and is currently ranked in the top 75. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for being here.
And then next up, we are very proud to welcome back the founder of the Heart of Scrolls podcast and current technical director, the one and the only Ice Cream. Ice Cream is from Prague, Czech Republic, and is currently slotted at number 12 on the ladder, though he'd probably be just a little bit higher if we could tear him away from Starbound every once in a while, or maybe WoW. We're glad to have you back on the show, Ice Cream.
Hello! I'm happy to be back, yeah.
And then finally, we're happy to welcome back to the program Blinky. From his home in Worcester, England, Blinky has been producing community content for Scrolls for a long time, since I believe the early days of Alpha, and currently boasts 2 accounts in the top 10, including his main and his new alt account, Kabonk Me Maybe. So if you see Kabonk Me Maybe in your game, make sure to give him a hard time for that ridiculous name. Welcome back to the show, Blinky.
Hello. That's all you're going to get from me.
Fair enough.
And it's pronounced Worcester.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm from the Midwest. I'm going to pronounce it however I
you
want.
mispronounce even
No.
Prague. It's Prague. Gosh.
Well, however you pronounce it, thank you all for coming on the Badgercast. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. Please feel free, listeners, to ask questions in the Twitch chat as we go. We'll do the very best that we can to get to them and cover them as much as we can. But let's go ahead and get things started. We're going to start things off with a short segment called What Are You Playing? During this segment, I'm just going to ask each of our guests to talk about their current decks that they are tinkering with, whether they be for serious ranked play or for more casual play. So let's start with the Overlord. The Overlord, what decks and what cards have you been playing lately?
Well, for the most part, I've just been playing what I would say standard order. What most people play with order. What is, I guess, a bit more uncommon that I think around is 2 decks. One is the I'm trying around with Refined Strategy, which I actually think works very well. The other is with Untainted, because I think Untainted has great potential. It's just that I suck as Growth, so that's a problem. But,
I can
So that-
confirm Tacky does indeed suck at scrums.
Well, how have your
So-
tests gone with those 2 cards?
well, I think the issue with Untainted is that you need Untainted. I'm trying to find a way that I don't have to dig for the Untainted card. The Refined, it works well, but you lose some of your disruption abilities, like Potter or something, whatever you decide to take out. So it becomes tricky against some decks, but overall it is actually quite potent.
It seems to have a pretty good surprise factor going for it. I was watching Atmaz's stream not too long ago, and somebody played Refined Strategy against him, and it looked like he about crapped his pants when he saw it come into play.
Yes, it definitely does that, but you should not count in the surprise factor, because let's say if everyone plays it, then it's not exactly a surprise.
So for now, it's good tech, but if it becomes popular, that surprise factor will definitely slip away.
Yeah, but even if the surprise factor is gone, I think it is quite viable, but not the most optimal. The more common way to play order is probably more optimal.
Okay. Well, let's move over to Magpie Man. Will you talk a little bit about what decks you've been playing?
I've been fairly boring, I suppose. Been playing Mono Decay mostly. Joined the bandwagon with that one. I suppose the scroll that's really been winning me the match is the Return to Nature. I almost never sack it now. Hold on to it until I get a couple and can wipe out all the husks after a Necro if I'm playing Decay, or pretty much board wipe growth with the amount of 2 health creatures they have. So
Return to
that's
Nature
really
was
key.
Return to Nature was originally added to the deck to combat growth, but it seems like it does have some utility against the other decks.
Oh yes, it's perfect because it doesn't set off Watcher. So, I mean, board wiping your opponent after a Necro puts you in such a strong position. It's invaluable.
Well, Ice Cream, let's have you talk a little bit about what you've been playing besides Starbound.
WoW, Dota. Now, when it comes to decks, I'm playing still the old Decay deck, the standard with the Return to Nature. And when I get to play, it's working well. I don't want to change the decks because while there might be strong decks, I just enjoy playing Decay so much. Like, the last time I had as much fun with the deck was probably when the game was released and I started playing Energy and finding out the good combos. So that's how much fun I'm having when I'm playing Decay. So I'll keep playing that and we'll see what happens after the nerf of Watcher. But I'll probably stay with Decay.
Well, it's definitely a fun deck to play. The explosive potential can be just a lot of fun to have.
Indeed. But it's not only that, it's like you have to make a lot of hard choices every turn with the sacrifices and which unit you actually want to play that turn. It's not like straightforward like with say Order where you want to drop this on turn 3, this on turn 4, and on 5 you have the choice between Vanguard or Scholar, and you like have small choice there. But with Decay I feel like you have a lot of choices and it's fun to make those choices. Yeah.
Well, I won't say that Order is easy to play because I can't play it at all because there's a lot of choices late game, but you're right that a lot of people seem to think that the Decay deck is just throw down a bunch of stuff, cast your Necrogeddon, and then you win. But it's really not like that because it takes a lot of work to get to that point where that's a game-ending spell.
Indeed. I think that's like the Necrogeddon is just the end game card like God Hand. But let's not get into that with that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have plenty more time to chat about that later on the show. But for now, I know, Blinky, that you have been playing around with a new deck that's quite a bit different from anything that we've seen before. What have you been playing?
I have, and it's very sexy. It is very sexy. It's a Decay and Growth deck, and I started before the test server patch, and then I found out through Mons that it was going to have a new card added, so I dedicated more time to it. And then the patch released on the test server, and I've updated it on there, and it's amazing. And it's the best deck ever.
Well, what's it do?
It blows things up. Actually, I've got the list here. Because of Eclipse now, I can go really far into Decay. So I've got Ragged Wolves, Frostgale, Sister of the Foxes, No Idea, which works well with Eclipse. I'm sure we can discuss that later. Fertile Soul, Rat King, Kingfoot Veteran, Quake, Sister of the House. We've got lots of token creatures and board wiping potential. And then I've got Eclipse, Iron Bile, Languid, Return to Nature, Harvester, Dying Curse, Oblivion Seeker, and 2 Necrogeddon. So I can basically play, I've done this quite a few times, pretty much every game, Sister of the Hour, Rat King, Iron Bile, Eclipse. Not Iron Bile, Eclipse, Necrogeddon, that's it. And I can go boom.
So is this the deck that everyone is going to be complaining about 3 weeks from now?
Oh, probably. It's not that good.
We believe in you, come on.
It's fun though.
Well,
Right.
since you mentioned the test server patch, it's a good time to move into a discussion about that. This test server patch is really quite big. It was a lot bigger than I was expecting going into it. There are 2 major branches of changes that the patch has made. The first is just a bit of usability and user interface changes, so maybe we can talk about those first. Some of those changes include the ability to rejoin the current match after a disconnect, which I know is something that people have been asking for a long time. Another thing that people have been asking for is the library and discard pile totals are now visible. How will being able to see these numbers affect the way you play?
Not too much, but it will affect it on the high level quite a bit. Like it's not game breaking because people were able to count it, but just seeing if you are a lazy person like me and you wouldn't count in any scenario, just seeing, oh, I'm actually cycling through my deck in 3 turns, which means I'll probably then be able to draw that. Makes quite a bit of difference. So it's just good if you are able to keep track of the cards you have played and how many left are in your deck. You can more easily calculate the chances of drawing those cards, and it's affecting it a little bit, and I'm loving it. But it's not a
Yeah.
major change. Yeah.
I will agree. It's not like a huge change, but I definitely like it, and it will help definitely sometimes. It will help me with my refined order deck that I have, because I use summoning a lot there, and then I can see if it has reshuffled or not, so I know if the mangonels are still in the graveyard that I can use the summoning on, or if they will take from the living deck, so to speak. It can actually matter sometimes where I take them from.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to make me concentrate on what my opponent's playing more, so I can see, oh, they've run out of burns in their deck, so I can safely play, say, a Royal Skirmish or something.
Yeah,
Just
things
little
like
things like
Quakes and Thunder Surge as well.
I'm not going to like write down everything, even I just never do that. But maybe pay attention a bit. It's like, oh, let's play that quite a lot. Maybe it's safe to do such and such.
Yeah, let you
Yeah,
pay
it's
attention
just-
at least to the key cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some extra information that is good to have.
Stops you searching for a card that you know you're not going to get for 20 scrolls or whatever. So
Oh yeah. It's just I need the feeling of I have to draw it now. I haven't drawn it in so long, and when it's not able to, it will disappear. Hopefully.
it will definitely make a change at the top of the ladder. And that I don't think the casual players will be affected by it too much, but definitely the meta game.
Well, it sounds like there's universal agreement that it'll be handy. I know that I'll definitely like being able to see, just for curiosity's sake, how far I've gone into my deck. Another
Yeah, it would help with deck building in that sense as well, I suppose.
That's true. Especially if you're playing a quick deck that tries to win in only a few rounds, it'll help to see about how deep you can expect to go into your deck on a given game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another change that is coming from the test server patch that will probably be live hopefully in the near future is the addition of achievements. I know this is something that a lot of gamers like. It's not necessarily something that's important to me, but a lot of people do like them. Have any of you guys had a chance to look at or experiment with the achievements on the test server?
That's the only
Yeah,
thing
I
I
got-
did.
Yeah, I got 4 achievements for Blink disconnecting. I approve of that.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
It wasn't even my fault. I just got an error and it said you've been locked out.
Yeah, I just went through and completed almost every achievement in the game and found a lot of like changes I would see made or bugs or whatever. So yeah, that's all I did, and I have to say achievements are awesome. For those of you that don't know, every achievement will award you with 100 golds. So it's a nice little boost to new players, which should probably make the coming into game even easier. If you are coming to game, you complete achievements to addition to trials, and you get just loads and loads and loads of gold.
How many achievements are
Sorry?
How many achievements are there?
I didn't count them, but quite a bit. But I have to say, it's work for like 1 or 2 days for players like us. It is not too hard to get them. Of course, there are like super hard to get, like being number one on ladder. So that will probably take a while, or going 5 of judgment. Who knows how hard it is today? But most of them are easily farmable. So I suggested there should be added like more harder achievements that will take months or weeks at least to complete or to hunt. So
But
I'm hoping
you
they will
say that,
implement
though.
that. Sorry?
Did you?
You say that it won't take that long for people with full libraries and stuff, but for sort of a lot of players that don't have all the scrolls in the game, a lot of these achievements will focus around specific scrolls that they'll have to go out and try and obtain before they could even attempt to obtain the achievement. So
Yeah, of course.
I think it has some longevity.
It has for the new players and for the casual players and all that, but for us semi-hardcore, whatever I would call ourselves, I don't know, it will not take as long as, and I think achievements are good to keep players from the top of the ladder alive too. I don't think they should be focused purely on the casual players. I think there should be something that we should strive for too. Like there should be something that would keep, for example, PQ playing, even though he is like #1, he has huge advantage. So if he had some achievements, it would be really hard, and he would be like the first one to get them and all that. That would be cool, I think.
So these could be long-term counting achievements, like win 1,000 ranked matches or win 200 games with each faction or things like that.
Maybe there are some like that, but obviously all of us will probably have them completed immediately, as we have played that many games. But I'm thinking something along those lines, like in difficulty of Pestis Trial. Or like something really hard to get, or I don't know, like I had some ideas but I forget them. But yeah, something not only grindy. I would hate it if it would be just pure grind for the sake of there being a grindy achievement, but I would like some challenge.
Did you say you get 10 gold for each achievement?
100.
100, okay. If it was 10, I would be like, what am I supposed to do with
Yeah.
10 now? I must win 9 more achievements. God damn it.
No,
I would like to see different levels of gold rewards, though, for depending on how difficult each achievement is. I don't think you should get 100 gold for becoming like the #1 ranked player. That's
Well,
get
yeah.
achievement for gold.
Yeah. If I can talk a little bit more about things I've suggested. Right now, you don't have any points for the achievements, which I think there should be. So you can say, oh, I have this achievement is this hard, this achievement is this hard. I have that many points, so I didn't like complete something easy, but I have more achievements than the other guy, which means I probably like achieved harder things. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way of motivating players to play more scrolls with to try and get better than their mates with the number of achievements they have and stuff.
Yeah.
I also
Because
think
ranked isn't always so good for the more casual player to sort of challenge each other with, I suppose.
And going along those lines, I think it's interesting to have more potential deck building achievements, like have a unit with 150 attack or something like that to give players something to strive for and test their creativity a little bit.
Well, there's an achievement where you should hit an idol for at least 10 damage in one hit. And multiplayer Easy AI and Hard AI, so that's something fun to hunt. There are 3 achievements that are made along those lines. Achieve something in a game. So it's idle for 10 damage. There is destroying all 5 idols in one turn. No, in one turn, like all 5 idols destroying basically. And there's achievement which is probably the hardest out of those. Have at least 6 bunnies on your side of the board during a match. So that's funny. And yeah, I think more of those should be in.
Well, that's an achievement that should be obligatory, and that should rats and bunnies should aim to try to have for each member.
That
Yeah.
should be their #1 goal. That's a great idea.
Yeah. But like I've said, I have almost all the achievements. I farmed them for 1 day on the test server, and I'm
You have all
missing.
the achievements.
Except for I'll tell you what I'm missing. I'm missing the trials achievement because I don't have all the trials completed there. I am missing win my first ranked match because I didn't win a ranked match on the server yet. 1500
And you
rating.
played
Is,
200 ranked games as well, so that's not good.
1500 rating is impossible to get there. Reach the top of the rankings I don't have, but I have top 10. I don't have judgment wins achievements, and I don't have those 3 in-match achievements in multiplayer version against player. And then I am missing achievement where somebody should spectate you. The hardest one is to have 20 users spectate one of your matches.
And that's just not going to happen on the test server.
And that's just
Easy.
not gonna happen with the server. So like I said, it's really all farmed in 1 day, and it's sad.
Well, luckily, achievements are relatively easy to add, and they can continue to add them as they go as they release patches. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the creators come up with.
Yeah.
But beyond the just more fun, more UI sides of the patch, there's also some serious content changes that are potentially coming. There's 3 things that I want to talk about. The first of these is the nerf to Watcher. For those that I'm sure everyone aware of what Watcher does right now, everybody that's been playing, but they talked about nerf, and what's live on the test server right now is that they're nerfing it to only deal 2 HP damage to idols, to a random idol instead of 3. So that could be a pretty significant change. What do you guys think about this?
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's good, but wasn't it some talk about that they were going to increase the cost for Necrogeddon?
No, not that I remember.
No, because that I felt like that wasn't necessary. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the change to Watcher, I think it's good. I think it will still be good, but not too strong.
I think it's just going to make games a little bit longer, and that's about it. And some player, if he underestimates his opponent, can suicide and throw the game away with badly played Necro right now, with that change. But other than that, I think it's just not going to change much. If you are winning the game, then you are going to win the game, and you just don't have the quick end game button. You'll have to play a bit more.
I don't know about that. If the thing is, the way the Watcher is now, you only have to damage the idol a little bit. Then you can do the combo, and you often take down 2 idols or something with it. And then the husk can simply kill the rest. With this, you have to damage the idols a bit more or do the combo more than once. And as soon as the Watcher is down, you have the opportunity to kill the Watcher. That's the main issue with fighting the Watcher directly. With that, it's like mangonel combo. You cannot prevent it. It just happens. You have to prevent them from getting to that point that it is effective for them.
Yeah, it'll mean that decay decks will require a bit more substance to. I mean, they can't just have a bunch of weedy creatures in a Watcher or whatever, because they're going to have to do some serious damage prior to
I guess
setting it off.
there were matches where people won out of pure RNG or out of pure Zergrash, I would call it. But for my style of play, I think it's not going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, no, I agree.
At the moment, the problem is you can just go, well, I might get lucky and I might hit the things and think, well, it will do a lot of damage. But I think when it's 2 damage, you can't really do that as much. You have to really think about what you're doing.
You can't. You really can't. It is a huge difference. Like the 2 and 3 damage, I thought it's not going to be as huge a difference, but it is really, really big difference.
It's for the better, though.
Yeah.
I guess.
Honestly, the only thing I really dislike with Watcher is the RNG, but I don't think much will change with that.
Well, you can play no RNG Totem of Suffering if you like to suffer yourself.
I'm not a decay player.
Yeah, I used to like Totem of Suffering, but Watch is just a better version of it as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, so. Much cheaper as well.
I actually
Would you
have,
like Totem of Suffering to change?
I don't know, they could buff it slightly, but
I can see
right.
all the hate that people would bring if Totem was buffed.
I think the only way you can buff it really is just by reducing the cost of it.
Yeah, you don't want to bring that up to 2 damage to an
2 damage
idol of
is
your choice.
turning
Turns everything into oil.
doubling.
Exactly.
So-
Imagine if it was lower cost, I think people would just play it with the Watcher and would just make for super, super aggressive decks, and I think that would be really rage-worthy from people. People rage when they lose, and that will bring out some really feeling of unfair losses. That's probably
enough.
the problem with Watcher, I guess, because people felt like it was unfair. Not necessarily it was unfair.
So even if it won after a long, hard-fought game that the Decay player maybe deserved to win, it just didn't feel like the way that you want to go out.
Yeah, I think.
Well, Another change that is being suggested by the developers and that they're currently testing on the test server a little bit is having idle health reduced. This is a really huge change, I think. They're talking about reducing the idle health maybe to even 8 HP.
Who's
How will
typing?
this- How will 8
sorry,
health idles affect your decks?
Yeah, can you please not?
I was.
Yeah. I think it imbalances the whole game. I think you have to end up changing attacks of all the units if you go and reduce idle health, to be honest. But despite that, I'm still glad they're doing it, because if you don't try, you're never going to find out whether it'll work or not. But I think it sort of imbalances things slightly.
It will make
I do
some.
not,
Sorry, go on.
I do not think it will imbalance things, but I think it will drastically change how things work. If that would happen, then decks would change quite a bit what works and what do not work, because idols are no longer a 10 health idol is quite safe unless you do some kind of God hand with Crimson Bull or something like that. They are pretty safe for the most part, but with 8, a lot of stuff can kill it. So I would say the decks would drastically change what works and what will not. But
It promotes
I'm
more
not
aggressive
sure it will be
decks.
imbalanced.
Yeah, I don't think decks will change it drastically. It will just open up way for more aggressive decks to be played. That's what I think. But I guess the main wish I have is for it not to completely destroy the late game decks, the go draws and all that, because it's fun to play. And if it was just not playable at all in any future because of this change, then it would be bad. So I think that's the most important change that I'm afraid of, that it would destroy late game potential of scrolls. While having shorter games and all that is good, sometimes you just wanna play something that goes to late game and draw and ramp and all that stuff, and it's the game I enjoy personally. So while having shorter games and being more open to tempo decks is good, I would like for both styles of play to be viable.
So you don't want the
Yeah.
pendulum to swing too far in the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
the late games are more entertaining to watch as well. The sort of 20 round plus matches are really entertaining, whereas these sort of quick tempo matches are a bit more RNG and a bit more luck, really.
I've got a question. Do you guys think it will influence the RNG factor in the game? Like, will the games be more RNG with 8 health? Because I don't think so personally.
No,
I don't know, I
don't
haven't
really
played it.
think so either.
We will have to test it first to make sure. But I don't think it will.
Well, that brings up a.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go.
But that brings up an interesting point. They're not necessarily going to make this change, but they are talking about implementing it so that it's only the case in quick matches that the idle health is reduced. This is a whole other issue altogether, having quick matches be a testing ground for new ideas and thus being a little bit different from ranked matches. What do you guys think of that philosophy?
I love it because the community that was complaining they couldn't get to test server and test stuff will finally be testing something, or will be available to test something. So that is really good. But on the other hand, who will you meet on quick matches? Not many people that are of equal skill. Maybe if people will play quick matches and quick matches only, then some MMR is there. Then I guess people will meet the same guys. But I would love it. Love if they would make it so you could challenge somebody to a game with 8 health idols. Yeah. So there could be another way.
I'm a bit on two fences with that idea. I think it will be nice to be able to test around in the quick matches and such. I just think, as Ice Cream was talking about, the skill is often quite varied with opponents there, so the test results can be a bit iffy with how it works out. Also, I'm not sure how the Scrolls community is in a whole, but in many games people, for some reason, me included in some games, they don't want to play ranked, but they want to play quick matches. So to then put their position in like, okay, we're gonna use your place of playing ground as a testing ground now. It's a bit, I feel, but so I like it, but I can also see a bit the negative in.
I hear what you're saying, because one of the things I like to do with quick match is test decks that I might eventually take onto the ranked ladder. And if the idle health is different, then obviously that has implications for whether or not my deck will be viable with 8 versus 10 health. So that is a significant change for me.
I would like to see 2 different options, just like regular game for quick match or test quick match kind of option.
I think the only issue with that is there's not a big enough player base to keep splitting the players between all these different game types. I think that's the issue we run into.
It's got to be done. I think it's the only fair way of doing it, though, because...
no, I do agree, but I can see it being an issue with even longer queues if we
I don't see it that much as a problem. The only problem I see in quick matches is the skill difference, but having different game mode there... Well, if you want to test new deck, you can always challenge some mate of yours, somebody from general match, whoever, and scrim it out, test it out against somebody and it will be even more effective than if you test it out in quick matches. And if you are just casual player who doesn't want to play ranked matches, then well, do you really care about some tiny little change for your level of play? Like the casual players will not see that much of a difference. Maybe the better ones will, but other than that, it will be just quick matches always with a tiny change that will not really be all that different. I don't think it's going to influence the player on those levels that much.
Well, perhaps they do not see the difference, but at the same time, it do not help the learning curve to learn, because you cannot see why something went right one time but wrong the other time, because I'm expressing it wrong, but let's say something went well because of the rule difference, but then it went wrong the other time because the rule difference was changed, and you cannot really see what went wrong, so my point here is that it can harm sometimes new people learning how the game works if you change the rules around where they play. I already see it many times. I see people that try scrolls and put it on YouTube and such. They actually get confused just by playing trials, because trials have different rules. So people need to remind them on that, but trials have different rules, so these actually do work, just not here, and so on. And this would just add to that.
Well,
that is one thing I'm worried about, because Mojang do have a habit of not explaining things in game. Yeah, see, but there's no like clear indication like what you can press controls to see all the stats, or tokens can't be targeted, that sort of thing. So I think if they add that would help.
Yeah. But as far as the learning curve goes, I am of the opinion that people should, when you are brand new to the game, I think the best way to learn after completing some trials and some maybe hard AI or something, or medium AI, you should just jump to ranked, as there is where you are most likely to meet equal opponents. So
yes, but it requires some courage actually to do that.
It does.
Many people get stomped and do not like to be stomped.
yeah, it does, but they are going to get just as stumped in quick matches. And I know it's a psychology problem, and when you see some visible ELO, you are afraid to lose it or whatever, so you are probably not playing ranked matches. But honestly, if you just want to learn the game, you should just screw it. I don't care about the numbers, just this is where I'm going to get the opponents of my skill, and new people should just jump straight to ranked.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. But I think a lot of people get a bit scared of going into ranked. They fear, like, even though you start on 0 rating, they do sort of worry about losing it. So they just don't want to go into ranked at all. I think maybe it needs to be explained better how it works or something.
There's the assumption that in the ranked matches you will meet only good people because all of them are tryhards. But I don't think that's the case, or should be the case. Ranked matches is just where you can see your skill in a number and can compare to others. But it doesn't mean all the players playing in the ranked are super tryhards. It's just I think it's just more stats.
I think it's more a case of when you play rank, you get points, and with points, it feels like you have someone over your shoulder judging you, and you don't like that. At least that's how I felt when I, for example, played StarCraft. I didn't like too much play ranked in StarCraft for that reason, and I can see the same reason apply here.
Either way, it should be viable for players to play both ranked and quick match modes, and it is interesting that they're using one of those modes as their testing ground. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it is definitely interesting and can have some implications for how people learn how to play the game.
Yeah, it's going to influence it a little bit, but I think people should just, what I said basically. The thing why they
suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up, indeed. Now, the thing is, why do they pick quick matches? It's because they need a lot of data on this change to see if it's effective, and a lot of people playing it to see how they like it. So quick matches is just the thing where to put it, really. It's just, you want a lot of data, so you put it where people will actually play it.
Yeah, I approve. The more testing on the regular servers, the better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for your input on the idle health change. There is one more change coming in the patch that I wanted to talk about, and that is the addition of the 4 design competition scrolls, including Eclipse, that I think all of us are pretty excited about. A few of you have had a chance to play around with these. Have they lived up to your expectations?
Well,
Yes.
I'm not sure what I expected from them.
Yeah, I didn't
tested
expect much either.
I have see. Well, I can start because I'm just talking. I have some ideas for Eclipse, but I feel like being a main order player, it's not really suited for me. It's more suited for someone like Blinky that is quite versatile with what he can do with all kinds of factions. I'm like, maybe I can put in a witch doctor. I don't really know.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, so
I was also thinking about a Molly Decay deck splashing Powerbound and Imperial Resources in the Eclipse.
yeah, and maybe like Uneasy Alliance or something. I don't know really what to do, but that could be a splash. Anyway, so Eclipse, I see the potential, but I haven't tried so much around it. Ancestral Pact, I feel like it is a good card, but I don't know if it is reliable, and I'm not sure how I'm going to test it, but I'm going to test it somehow. Regarding,
can I jump in? Do the Ancestral Pact? I'll let you continue after that. But as far as the Ancestral Pact go, I wouldn't look at it as a draw card, but more as a tempo card. So you play it to keep your tempo, and if he stops your tempo, then you get consolation. Go on.
Yeah, it might be that way. And the one I have been testing around a little bit is Stifled Advance, because I just got this crazy idea that maybe you can use it in a decay order splash, and then you use it on like your scryers or something, and it worked. It worked kinda. It's kind of funny. I tried against Blinky, but he just burned all my scryers, that bastard. So,
You won that game.
yeah, I won it by cursing my own cursemonger. So feel that.
I still think it's the weakest of the new scrolls. That one.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
great,
so
really.
too. I do not have high hopes for Stifled Advance, but I have a few crazy ideas what I can do with it.
I think it needs like card draw for playing it or something. Just otherwise, it's just not going to get played. I don't think, because it's the base countdown, so it doesn't have an immediate effect. The unit's still going to attack before the the base countdown effect kicks in. So
I
I
think
don't know. It's too weak.
I
think it'll
think
be a decent judgment scroll, and I think it's fine.
Mm.
I don't think it's amazing, but I
I
think it's
I think Stifled Advance, Fort Trap, Frozen Wind, all these Draining Mist and so on, they are waiting for this magical card that will just make them all playable. It's like they are just waiting for this stall meta or whatever.
deal damage to a creature equal to its countdown.
Blind
Yeah, I
Rage.
thought
That sort of thing.
something. They're waiting
Yeah,
for something,
that's true.
and then they will all be playable.
Well, there was a card like that.
Order
it's what-
Energy
they
Blind
changed-
Rage.
Faith Blessing used to kill the creature and heal the Idol by 4, and then Mons one day changed it to dealing damage to a row equal to the destroyed creature's countdown.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
Interesting.
it was destroyed units countdown, so I've used that with Crossbowmen and Mangonels. So that didn't last long. When it was changed to what it is, so it can be quite powerful.
Yeah.
I think that was just too powerful.
Crossbowman Faith Blessing is the old puppet nutrition.
Yes, it was like that. It was horrible.
I think that Stifled Advance might potentially see some play if energy decks ever get really powerful, because I think it could be really good against the Automata Forge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
I've used it on Automated Forge and it's done quite well.
well, the most impactful card will be the Piercing projectile there. I think that card will change a lot. Energy has been raising up, and now the best deck that was before, Bombard deck, will be so much stronger. Like, it has such a huge impact.
Well, that's the reason why I put forward that scroll. It's because at the moment there's kind of like structure scrolls. The reason to go with that, we got like, well, obviously all the structure stuff, but there was never anything to help the range units apart from Bombard or anything big.
Yeah.
I think that just even things piercing would really sort of make people think, oh, maybe this is another viable route for energy. So that's why I put it
With the idle health, at the health idle, sorry, plus the piercing projectile, energy will be really, really scary with the old Bombard tempo decks.
And Corrode.
And Corrode, oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you could, even with a couple of the automatons that buff other automatons' attack. I mean, them and a cannon could take out an idol if you with a bit of buffed attack and machinated and things. So yeah, energy would be very strong. With,
I don't know.
The 8 idol change.
Blinky made a video about piercing projectile, and I don't know if he was just super lucky with the draw there, but that thing was so OP. Wow, it just completely destroyed Order, like completely.
I think the lucky thing of that game was Concentrate Fire machinated on the Dust Runner.
Oh,
I think that's what would be that game.
That's
No,
just
was it
mean.
Machinated Concentrate Fire. That was it. Is that what I said? I don't know.
yeah, but it wasn't on the
Yeah.
Turner, it was on Gun Automaton, I think. Long-waited Gun Automaton. Whatever.
But a good way to
No,
combat
no,
it
it
was
was
the
Dust
Awakened Stones, wouldn't it?
Guess it was.
Because piercing won't go through. I assume it doesn't, because relentless creatures don't go through Awakened Stones. So
They do, piercing
might see them
does.
being played more.
Piercing does go
They
through
act-
that. And does go
Yeah,
It does,
through
does it?
potions, and does go through everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because the Waking Stone, it only says that it reduces the damage it takes. It doesn't say it stops the damage or something like
Yeah,
that.
the thing with
it keeps going through.
the thing with Relentless is you need to kill the first thing to move on to the other, whereas
That's
piercing
true, yeah.
projectile can just damage everything and not kill anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yes, it's certainly very strong, and I do love it. Yeah.
Well, it does sound like. Go ahead.
Maybe I might come back to energy with the patch. Who knows?
No!
Oh.
I'm sure everyone's
What are you
looking forward
saying?
to that.
Is
Though.
Ice Cream going to switch faction?
Hmm.
I thought it was never possible. After
That's
he
the true
committed
story
himself-
for the future.
After he committed himself to energy at the start.
And then switch
So-
to order. Go on. Sorry.
We're having a lot of fun speculating about future metagames, but there is the little issue of the current metagame. and what's going on at the top of the ladder. Everything's been a little sickly, a little focused on decay lately. I've seen a lot of comments on Reddit and on Scrolls Guide and in the general chat that the decay deck is just too powerful, and they don't quite know how to. It seems like people don't quite know how to beat it. So I thought we could take advantage of who we have on our stream here and talk about how they play to beat decay. What decks have you guys played that have done pretty well against the mono decay deck?
Decay.
Mono decay.
That doesn't count. Come on.
Well, for my part, both my order decks, which would say the just standard competitive order deck I play, and the refined strategy order deck I play, they both work well against decay. When I lose against decay, it's because often it's a better player, and he has to do less mistakes than me and such. The key, in my eyes, how to beat decay is that you have to reach their backline. Either you have to reach the backline by Potter and Flip. Now I'm talking for order. I don't know how Growth is going to beat them. Maybe Quake or something.
Rumble.
But for me, I use Potter and Flip and such to reach the backline and kill those creatures that benefits from death, like Witch Doctor and Rot Eater and Harvester, so they are gone. And with the refined strategy, I just bombard with Mangonels and reach their backline. Because as soon as they are dead, then I control the pace. They rarely have some kind of haste effect or such, so they can stand there with their, I don't know, 2 Curse Monger and how much else. They are still not going to attack me, and I know when I'm going to attack them.
So taking advantage of their lack of cooldown reduction outside of Necrogeddon is one of the keys, as well as taking out some of those major creatures in the back, not letting them get ahead and steamroll.
However, you have to be careful with that. It's okay to have that they have creatures out, and you can control the pace. But when they start to get a certain amount of decay, then this Watch Necrogeddon thing is becoming a threat, and you need to clear the board ASAP.
Yeah, I think.
I think the strength of decay is not watching Necrogeddon, although it is powerful. I think it's the fact that it has such a good creature curve. It usually manages to get a 2-drop down, 3-drop, and a 4-drop. It's just so powerful. So to counter that, I tried Order and did the same sort of creature curve, and that worked out quite well. Aging Knights work well because your opponent plays Ripper. You can play that, and we're like, oh, well, that's annoying. You basically got them. And then so I tried to get that. And so if you can keep up the tempo, which they're wanting to do, I think Order does quite. I think Order's the best counter to decay at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, energy as well is pretty strong with the structures and that, and the removal to get rid of the Witch Doctors and the Harvesters.
Yeah, I think with decay, it is really, it comes down to being a better player, as there is no clear deck that just ruins decay, as there is, for example, Quake to ruin energies, structure decks or something. There is not a clear counter to decay. It's just you have to play really, really well, you have to be on top of your game, and you have to be better than your opponent, and then you'll be able to beat him.
The thing I really struggle against while playing Decay is Mangonel heavy order decks. I mean, the Mangonels can cause, although you can sort of play around them, with the flips and things, they're really strong to just take out your key creatures, and it's quite difficult to take out the Mangonels a lot of the time as well. So.
If any deck is able to control your board, you are screwed, because you need to have the board, and if you lose it and you are not able to regain it, then you are screwed. You just need to have a lot of stuff there. So any kind of really good control deck has a slight edge over you, but they have to get those cards, whereas you always will have something, even if it's a bad play, you'll always have something on board, and if you have something on board, then you can make stuff with that happen.
Well, that's a good point. Decay decks tend to play just more creatures than other decks. They play sometimes 30 or more. I'm wondering if other decks, if they mirror that and play more creatures, just have more stuff on board, if they'd be able to keep up a little better.
I've tried to do that in the past with other decks, because I mean, back when I sort of started, I played Energy and moved to Growth, and I enjoyed Growth so much because of the number of creatures, and I tried to mirror it with Order and things, and it worked a bit, but I don't know. It doesn't always work like that. I think Decay has such strong creatures individually.
Elmire Tribesman's a great
bad,
example. A 2-mana 3/3/4.
Exactly. There's no bad
I
creature. So
Yeah, I don't think that is really. So it doesn't work for me at least. I've tried with a lot of creatures in my order deck at least, and I just come up with that. It turns out that I start to just sacrifice a lot of a certain creature or something, and do not really play them often. The reason I believe, perhaps you people who play Decay much more than me can testify on this or not. But the reason I believe Decay is so creature heavy is because they lack this haste ability and such, which means they have to take into account that their creatures will die, and when their creatures dies, they need more creatures. Therefore, they have a lot of creatures, so they can put them out.
Yeah.
I think if Energy get a few more creatures, I think they're the one. That's the faction that will have the best chance of mirroring how Decay works. In that sense, I feel. But the problem is a lot of there aren't that many energy creatures, and
I think
they're
the
not all really strong.
problem
You don't-
for other colors really lies in Quake, because when you get quaked as Decay, it doesn't hurt you that much if you have like either Harvester or Witch Doctor in play. It just kind of helps you really. Whereas in other colors, if you have a lot of creatures, Double Quake usually just clears you because a lot of those are low drops with low health. So that is a huge problem for heavy creature decks for other colors. That's why they are not as viable. They need to, the other colors need to make better usage of their creatures to match up the number of creatures of Decay.
So somehow the way to nerf Decay is actually to nerf Quake.
Maybe, yeah.
No.
Well, I didn't take up what the way to nerf Decay is to nerf Quake.
Well,
What are you talking? I'm lost.
Well,
He was just saying
Isn't he
that
trying to say
Quake
to make energy more viable?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see.
no. If the other colors would be better with more creatures, then nerfing Quake will help them to be more viable. Those decks. So,
Right,
but
something
yeah, I
like
don't
that.
think that's the answer, and what we should be doing to nerf Decay. And I mainly think Decay doesn't really need that much nerfing. Like, yeah.
But as you say, as
Also-
soon as you have board wiped a Decay deck, they cannot get back into the match because it takes them too long to get the creatures down. The advantage is they get so much board presence early on, and they can maintain it with
Yeah, I
their
was
removal
about-
and whatnot.
Unless you're
Oh.
playing against growth,
Yeah,
because then you can go Harvester double return to nature,
Yeah.
and that just.
but Harvester attacks. I like that.
I was
I mean,
about
also
to
when playing
say
against growth is Decay, I like to put Watcher down just to try and force them to not play Quake.
I don't actually play
Because Quake
Watcher.
will only do 3 damage to Watcher, so it will set it off with all the creature kills around.
The thing is,
Watcher.
how often do you have 2 HP creatures out before any Quake hits? It's good when 1 Quake is out and the rest of your creatures are weakened and like your important creatures are weakened, then to play the Watcher, but like playing it just like that is only really good against Decay and Energy, I think.
Maybe.
I was also about to mention that with their board clear capability. With this is just my own experience. I'm not really sure how true this is, but I feel like when I face energy and I have like 2 cards and I see they have 7, I am a bit scared. If I see the same against growth, I am quite scared. If I see the same against a mirror order player, I'm quite scared. If I have 2 cards and I see Decay have 7, I'm not as scared. Because I'm like, what are they going to do?
Just throw more guys on the board.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna kill them next turn.
No, they are going
It-
to ramp up resources, and that's really what you should be afraid if Decay has a lot of resources while still having stuff to play. So if
Yeah,
I,
of
as a
course.
decay creature, or not decay creature, if I, as a decay player, have a lot of cards in hand, it just means I can ramp up and play more creatures in one turn and more effective creatures, and that's good for me. So does
Yeah, and they
the
make themselves. Yeah, of course, they make themselves stronger, but they have not too many options to just quickly kill me,
yeah,
which
of course.
gives me a sort of comfort zone in that. But I'm still very aware with what they can do. They are strong. I'm not saying against that. I'm just saying among all factions, I have less problem with decay sometimes having card advantage against me than any other faction.
Yeah, decay is
Just because I know they cannot really board wipe me.
Decay is a color that doesn't rely on card advantage as much. They have sort of different view at the game. They are more about keeping the tempo, keeping stuff on board, and more about board control. And card advantage is really not influencing them as hard. When I'm playing Decay, I usually don't care about my card count as much. I do a little bit, but about my opponents, unless it's really late game order and they have tons of resources, I do not care either. But if I were playing energy before, or if I was playing order before, I really cared for those cards in hand. Yeah, I
Yes,
should stop
well,
talking.
why?
I'm talking too much.
I personally have nothing much more to contribute regarding the decay discussion. I just face decay most of the time, and that is what I do against them.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into beating decay than just drawing the right cards. There's a lot you have to do with careful positioning. There's a lot you have to do with careful prioritizing of their bad guys. But it doesn't sound like we necessarily solved the problem of decay on this podcast. But hopefully our
My
listeners
Decay
can take a
growth
couple of
deck
tips
does
away
well.
from this. Your decay growth deck does well against it.
I think.
Yeah.
Have you done a video on that? A
Ye-
YouTube video?
Yes.
Well, let's go into our plug section, and you can start us off by plugging your YouTube channel in that video. Maybe people can take inspiration from your deck.
I've got a YouTube channel.
What's it called? How do I get access to it?
Oh, I forgot the name. Oh, it's /Blinky00849.
W849. This is like the worst channel name ever and worst Twitter name ever. If you wanna
What's
search
wrong
for,
with it?
if you wanna find Blinky, just type Blinky into YouTube and you will find him. Or if you can't, then Blinky scrolls. But don't try to remember those crazy numbers. They are just crazy.
So if you do put that search in, you're going to find a lot of stuff from Blinky. He's got recent videos on each of the new cards. He's got test server content and all sorts of stuff. So take advantage of it. There's a lot out there in the Scrolls community, and I'm going to go ahead and list off a couple of other things. Next up, actually, we'll stay on Blinky, is the Owl Stream. Blinky, will you tell us a little bit about what goes on with the Owl Stream?
Once in every full moon, me and Acidjib get together and do the Owl stream. The longest scroll stream, most subscribed, followed, whatever,
It
and the
isn't.
biggest the rest. Yes, it is.
I had more followers than you did for a while. I think.
No, you don't.
How many do you have?
700 and something.
Either way, you both have a lot. The numbers don't matter. But
Thank you.
Ice Cream,
Right.
let's take this opportunity to talk about your channel. What channel is it, and what do you do?
I do stream on /IceCream. So that's where I usually am if I do that. But recently I've been trying and failing to do so, but I keep trying to make my YouTube channel a bit more alive. And what I have prepared and forgot to upload is a coaching session, or not session, but I got some coaching requests from Twitchmatic, and I commented on those games and made a, I think, pretty nice commentary of what he is doing wrong, what he done wrong, and commented over his video. And yeah, that should be a three video series that at some point should be on my channel, and I hopefully will continue to do that because I am enjoying coaching and I am enjoying also live casting, so that might happen too a bit more. And yeah, my YouTube channel also has a dumb name. It's Fallout Man C and Z, so it's like Fallout Man Check. It's a dumb name. I'll link it somewhere at some point.
Yeah, you'll link it on the video because we're not going
Yeah.
to search Fallout to get our Scrolls content.
Can you teach me how to play well when very, very tired and drunk?
Yeah,
Because you seem
That
to
is
do
your
that quite well.
strength.
I stream quite a lot drunk. Yeah, and tired.
If ever there was a tournament for that, you can go in first.
Yeah, somebody please make it.
Idea for the next ESL tournament: 3 drinks per round. Some other content that's out there in the Scrolls community. We have our stream, the Badger Guild stream, which is twitch.tv/the Badger Guild. We haven't done a great job of having content on that lately, but our plan is to have multiple members of our guild casting on that, casting other people's games, casting their own games, doing tournament coverage, all sorts of stuff. So once again, you can find us at twitch.tv/the Badger Guild, which is the channel most of you are currently on right now. You can also find some more content from the Think Tank, our friendly rivals. Despite the lovely GIF you see on our background there, we do like them and respect what they do. They did a really
That
cool
was just- that
roundtable
was
a
just
couple of weeks ago.
coincidence.
That has nothing to do with them, we swear.
Yeah.
You can find their content at twitch.tv/the Scrolls Think Tank. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing on that, but I'm sure they'll have some content up there. And then another good source is at Maz's stream. I think he wins the competition for the dumbest name, unfortunately. Twitch.tv/poopybutts with a Z in there somewhere. So he's got good content. He's a good caster. He's interesting to watch. So give him a follow.
And
And
I think
go ahead.
you will forget it, so I'll do it. YouTube/Heart of Scrolls is where the podcast will be, and there are all past Heart of Scrolls podcasts. So YouTube/Heart of Scrolls, currently with 80 subscribers, and information. Our last podcast got 242 views, so that's not too bad.
that's good to hear. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
So go ahead.
that's where this podcast will be too when I upload it.
And we'll have links on Reddit and whatnot and Scrolls Guide.
Indeed.
The last plug that I want to make is for the ESL tournament tomorrow. They are doing a new format. It's a team tournament. Will one of you talk about what the team tournament is and how our listeners can get access to it? I nominate you,
No,
Man.
no one wants to.
Oh,
Does that mean,
that's great.
does that mean it's up to me?
Well, yeah, it's teams of it's best of 5, and the winner stays on basically. So you want teams of 2 or 3 people, and basically one of those players could wipe out the entire of the opponent's team, and it should be fun. Go sign up.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Hang on, let me just see who's entered, because I think at the moment we win.
Yeah, at the moment it's just our teams, I believe.
Yes, I think so. Sounds good. So Badger against Badger.
So while he's doing that, even if you're not going to play, come check it out. I think it's tomorrow, right? What time is it?
Oh, the usual time.
Afternoon at some point.
8 p.m. CET, I think.
8 p.m.
No,
CET.
no,
so
6
you can
p.m.
plug that-
6.
6 p.m. CET, so you can plug that into your time zone converter if you're in America. Even if you're not going to play, it's a lot of fun to come watch some of the top players playing games. Always gets tons of spectators, 20, 30 plus spectators in some of the championship matches. It's really entertaining.
But even if you're not a top player, you should sign up and have some fun, because there's no
Yeah.
harm in losing, and
More
you never
people,
know,
the
you
better.
could get lucky and win.
Exactly.
Beat Pewcue.
Yeah.
Someone's got to beat him eventually.
And we wouldn't be against that.
Yeah. QQ. Have I ever told a story that doesn't belong into the podcast? So I'll leave it to after I'm finished with. Go on.
Yeah. Well, Blinky, do you have those names for the tournament?
No, I gave up.
That's all right. Well, that's all we got for today. Thank you to all 4 of our guests. Once again, we had Blinky, we had the Overlord, we had Ice Cream, and we had Magpie Man. Thank you to all of you for coming on our podcast.
Thank you
to all of our.
for hosting, by the way.
Oh, no, hang on. 7 sign up. Hang on.
7 signups. That's excellent.
What does that mean just because we've got
Sweet.
7 people entered?
It might be that.
Well, that's good news. Well, thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in, both live and those of you that listen on YouTube later on. And that's all we have from the Badger Guild. Go play some scrolls. Thank you all.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.